Hi guys, in this video I'll go over three things. First, I give a basic definition of what a variable is. Then I talk about valid identifiers. And finally I talk about naming conventions, in particular camel case naming convention. So let's start out with the first part. What is a variable? So to give you an idea, a variable is defined like this. For example, int number semicolon. So a variable is a location in memory where we can store values. It reserves some part in memory where we can store values. And the values that we can store is defined by the data type. So for our variable here, the data type is int. And so this variable that is named number can store whole numbers, integers. It can store negative numbers, positive numbers, any integer. So -100 is okay, 1,000,000 is fine, 500,000 is fine, 15, 3, 0, any whole number, positive or negative in this case. Then following the data type is the identifier. This identifies the variable. This is often also referred to as the variable name. So the data types, there are a bunch of primitive data types. I don't cover them in this video, but what you want to remember is we have a data type, we have the identifier, and we can optionally also assign a value. And assigning a value, like in this case 134, means we are storing this value in the memory location that we refer to as number. So this is placing a value into that variable. Now I want to move on to the second part, which is valid identifiers. In this case, I named it number, and number is the identifier. But there are some rules that the compiler has. What a valid identifier is and what an invalid identifier is. So let's talk about those rules. First, it must start with a letter, and the letter can be lowercase or it can be uppercase, an underscore, the $sign, and that is it. That is the very first character. Then it must be followed by the same thing, letter, underscore, $sign, or digits. And so if we sum this up, we start out with a lowercase letter A through Z, or uppercase letter A through Z, underscore, or a $sign. And this is followed again by any number of lowercase letters, any number of uppercase letters, $sign, underscore, $sign, or digits. And so the star here means really I can pick anything from the set. I can have lowercase, uppercase, lowercase again, some digits, lowercase letters again. So anything I can pick from this set repeatedly. Now let's see some examples. Let's say int number. Is this valid or not? So the first character here is an uppercase N. This one is in the first set. I can use an uppercase letter. Then following this, I have a bunch of uppercase letters, so this is valid. Then let's see, underscore, underscore, house, and some of them lowercase. So underscore, the first underscore, is part of the first set. This is valid. Now the second underscore I have in the second set. This is valid. Then I have a few uppercase letters, this is valid, and then following a few lowercase letters, also accepted in the second set. So this one is also valid. Now let's say 5 pieces. Is this valid or not? If I look in the first set that I need to start with, there are no digits. So this one here is not valid. I cannot start with a digit. Let's try out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 underscores. Now I have the underscore in the first set, so I can start with the underscore, and I can repeatedly use the underscore. So this one is valid. That's a valid identifier. Next, let's try $$$$$. This one is valid as well. We can have a $sign in the beginning followed by multiple $signs. This is valid. And let's try one more. Number 500. This one also valid. I start with a lowercase followed by lowercase repeatedly, and then I'm ending with some digits. This one is also fine. So this gives you some ideas what the compiler accepts as identifiers. Obviously what you saw is some of them are not very meaningful, and we typically want to have meaningful variable names, but we also want to have consistency in the variable names. And consistency is provided by naming conventions. So this is a convention that every programmer will follow. There are multiple naming conventions. The common one is camel case. So camel case looks like this, for example, house number. So what camel case does is we have a lowercase word consisting of all lowercase characters. Then if there are multiple words in the variable, such as number here, we uppercase the very first letter of the word, and everything else will be lowercased. And optionally, we can end with a digit. So again, start out with a lowercase letter followed by words where the first letter is uppercase or is in uppercase, and then optionally end with digits. So in house number 200. This one would also be valid. And, let's use a different data type. First name. So string is basically text as a sequence of characters that this variable can store. And here for the identifier I picked first, and then I have another word name that starts with an uppercase N. Same thing like last name. So anything I always start lowercase and then uppercase. And what we'll see is, following this, all the variable names have a consistent naming convention. That when we follow this, it makes the code much cleaner than just following what is valid. So it's always good in a program to follow a naming convention. Thank you for watching.